Hello everyone, and welcome to episode 6 of A Game's Worth, a series in which I give my personal opinion on how good a game is and what that game is worth. And for this episode, I'll be reviewing Elven Assassin. Elven Assassin is an indie action VR game on Steam that costs about $15. It's rated 86% with over 500 reviews, which isn't half bad. The game is developed by Wenkley Studio and was released on September 10th, 2016. The game's last update was on May 31st, so it's definitely not dead, as people would say. Anyway, let's get into it. Alright, as usual, we have the 5 categories being rated out of 100, and the rankings, which are based on the average of all 5 categories. I'll also be giving an estimate on how much I would pay for the game at the end of the episode. Okay, that said and done, let's go straight into the first category. To start off, I feel like the gameplay in the game is pretty nice. The bow's pretty easy to use and isn't complicated at all. The magic in the game is kind of weird to get used to, but once you do it, you get used to it pretty quickly. Teleporting is pretty unique in the game. You have to shoot the towers to teleport to them, and it doesn't make me sick when I'm doing it either. It's nice and smooth. The dragons in the game make it so you have to aim up, which is definitely good for the gameplay as it changes up where you have to aim, especially if you have to aim at both the sky and the ground. And the bosses are a nice touch too. There are also axe orcs who, when you hit them, they throw their axe at you and you have to either teleport away or duck and cover, which is a really good mechanic to have in the game. I feel like it just adds more to the game instead of it just being a wave shooter. Overall, I feel like gameplay deserves an 89 out of 100. It's just an easy to pick up game and pretty fun when you get into it. To be completely honest, I'm not a big fan of the graphics in the game. But that doesn't mean they're bad, just not to my tastes. I feel as if the terrain graphics and the structure designs are very well detailed and definitely are fitting for the setting in almost every map. The effects of the magic as well as the arrows are also very well made. To say it lightly, I feel like the graphics are very good. Overall, I mean, graphics gets an 85 out of 100. I feel like they're really good, it's just not really my style. The performance in the game is definitely good, and I don't think I've ever experienced any lag in the game, which is obviously a good sign. Even in the high rounds, when there's magic and enemies everywhere, I feel like I've never had any issues with performance. Which, I mean, that means that performance gets 100. I've never had any issues with performance. No crashes, no lags. Lags? Lag spikes? I don't know. Nothing like that. So, I feel like it's justified. Sadly, after some research, I've determined that as of now, there's no modding for the game. Unfortunately, I have to give modability a 0 out of 100. Those are the rules. There's no modding, there's no score. Now, the content in the game is kind of limited in the sense that there isn't much variety. There is the main game, which is wave-based defense, but there's also a PvP mode, which is kind of fun. I've never made it far enough to see if there's like an end or like a final wave, but there are enough waves to make me play for a couple hours. I'll give content a generous 77 out of 100. Alright, the scores are in. Gameplay with an 89, graphics with an 85, performance with a 100, modability with a 0, and content with a 77, which gives the final score a total of 70 out of 100, which makes Elven Assassin a B ranking game. And I would definitely pay $20 for this game. I think it being $15 is good for what it is, but I feel like I would still consider buying it if it were $20. My final thoughts are that Elven Assassin is a pretty good game if you just want to get on it for 30 minutes to an hour and have a bit of fun. It's easy to pick up and just get straight into it. It's also a really good game to play with friends if you have a couple people you know that have the game as well. And overall, I just enjoy it. Thank you for watching, and I hope this helps you decide if you want to buy the game or not. And that's everything. I will see you all in another video. Peace out.